What I want to do is just do a quick tutorial on storing presets using the OP-1. What I'll do is I'll just select a synthesizer patch, effectively any synthesizer against digital, for example, and I'll load it into key 1. So essentially what we've got now is a digital patch on key 1. You can hear the sound. Now if I want to change that sound, tweak the parameters or do whatever I need to do and find a patch that's quite useful that I want to use again, I can store that. So I'm just going to add an effect. So I've just got the telephone effect set up. So let's say that that's the one that I want to save. And like I said, we've got it on key 1, loaded into key 1. Now if I press key 1 and hold it for 5 seconds, you'll see the clock turning, saving, and then a tick saying that I've now saved that patch. So if I can move to another patch and then back, you'll see that that patch is saved along with the effect that I've saved with it. But how does that look in the presets? So if we have a look at that, so if we go to Shift 1, what you can see now is there's the digital synthesizer selection, the patch selection, and if we scroll down using the blue controller to the bottom, what you'll see is a snapshot. And in that snapshot you'll see now a saved file that's got today's date, which is the 25th of August, and the time 8:26 that patch was saved, and you can recall that at any time back onto the key as you wish. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to organise the patches a little bit better than just using this, which makes it difficult to understand what your patches really are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the OP-1 into disk board, and I'm going to take control of the files using my PC, which the OP-1 is currently connected to. Now you can see that the removable disks appeared on the display, which is essentially the OP-1. If I select that, you can see the different folders for album, drum, synth, tape. And if let's have a look inside the synth folder, you can see that the snapshot folder now exists, and that same file, which is the date and time, still exists in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rename that. Now you need to only use 10 characters, and characters that are pretty much recognisable on standard Windows or Mac systems rather than any unusual characters. So if I actually rename that Bingo as my patch name, and then I actually copy that file, or even cut the file, take a step back, and instead of just having the snapshot folder, I'm now actually going to create my own preset folder. So I'm now going to call this Razzle. So my snapshots or my presets will now be contained in the Razzle folder, and I'm just going to copy the preset that I've made earlier into that folder. So you can see that that's in the synthesizer folder of the OP-1. I'm now going to take the OP-1 out of disk mode and back into standard OP-1 mode. What you'll see is that the files are being rebuilt to recognise the new structure, and then when it says press key to continue, I'm just going to go to the synthesizer section. Again, the patch exists. But now let's have a look at the browser. We can now see the same file structure, but as well as, in fact, the The snapshot folder still exists, but as well as that you can now see a folder called Razzle, and inside there you can see the preset that we saved earlier called Bingo. So that's a way of organising your own presets. You do have to use a PC to do it. It can be done in the OP-1, but that's a quick example of how you can start building your own presets for drums and synthesizers, and use the user folder to create your own personal folders. I'm now going to do just a quick overview of the M1, M2 memo keys, and what these allow you to do is just select something from the mixer, for example like EQ, and capture a snapshot of that EQ setting. So let's assume that all these EQ settings on this patch are up at maximum. What I want to do is, instead of having a low cut filter across the track that I would record, I can set two settings, and for example I could just have two filter or two cut settings that help the track with some different features. So let's just store the different settings. If I press the M1 key and it says memorize on the screen, and you can see it's currently memorized this low at the bottom position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the high up, I'm going to move mid slightly down and low to its medium position, and then I'm going to press M2, memorize to, and I'm going to drop the low to bottom and drop the mid to almost minimum. So now what I've done is I've got two steps, as you can see, of EQ that I can use on the track. So if I'm playing a track, you can use the memo keys to instantly recall that EQ or mixer setting.